Hello, welcome to Romance on Repeat. I'm Bella, the host. So, today's episode is firstly in a different location. I've just decided to do it at my desk and realized the lighting isn't that bad, which is pretty good. And I've got, a nice bouquet of fake flowers, so that makes it a little bit more colorful than the last episode. So, in today's episode, I didn't actually know what to talk about, and I was really struggling to find a topic that I hadn't already done. But then I realized there are a lot of shows. There are a lot of books being turned into shows or movies. So I want to speak about that and what has been turned into a show or a movie already, and what is about to. So first, starting off with the big one in my life, well, I should say, is the Off Campus series by Elle Kennedy that is being turned into a show. They just started filming now, and people had some things to say about the casting, which got released last month, I believe. The only issue I have with it, certain stuff where I'm like, okay, they look like the characters and they can act like the characters, but I don't know if they're, you know, the hair. Sometimes it's mainly the hair. Like certain of the actors, they don't exactly match the look of the characters that people imagined. So people had a lot to say about that. My main thing, which I've noticed, it's not really an issue for me. It's more I'm wondering how it would work. So in the off-campus series, there's some heavy scenes and there's some spicy scenes as well. And the actors who are playing the two main characters for this season, he is 26, I want to say. She is 18, and I remember she's 18 because because I looked it up and I was like, how are they going to do all of these scenes? And this book also talks about heavy situations and heavy topics like rape. So, I understand 18-year-old mature, and in Australia that's an adult, but in America that's still technically a teenager, and 21's the legal age. So how is doing all of those scenes and talking about all those heavy topics, how are they going to play that out? Because that's pretty much the whole point of the book, is the main male character making the main female character comfortable to go out, to go to parties and not be traumatized by her past. And it's like, it's really heavy topic that I don't know how they would play that out, because America is very strict with how they do things. I feel like here, if you're like, I feel like they let it pass if you're a little bit under the age limit. But in America, they're very strict, especially whoever's doing the directing and the casting or whatever. But I think that the characters are quite perfect for Hannah and Garrett. So the casting, sorry, I should say. So I'm not mad about that. But moving on from the off campus series, I'm more just don't want to be disappointed. That's all I want to say about it, is just don't be disappointed. That's all I want. And we also have a fellow Australian playing one of the characters, not the main characters, but he will be playing one of the main characters in the first season only, because that character only appears in the first book. And he's from Heartbreak High, which a lot of people may know him, and he's also the fan cast for Xaden from Fourth Wing. So if Fourth Wing, it's either being turned to a show, or if it ever did get turned to a show or a movie, that fans want him as Xaden, the main male character. So he's making some moves, and Heartbreak High really put him on the map, which is pretty cool. So moving on, I've looked up books that have been turned into shows or movies, and there's a lot recently that have been announced, which is pretty good, because all good movies and shows pretty much come from books, which is the dream. If my book ever got turned into a show, I would love it. Like, it'd be surreal. But going ahead of myself, I haven't even fucking finished writing it yet. But some of the main ones that people know, obviously, Pride and Prejudice. That's got like 5 different adaptations, movie and show. Obviously, that started off as a really big book back in the day. Game of Thrones is a book series, got turned into a $1 billion show. The Summer I Turned Pretty, I remember seeing, because obviously I just saw bits of the the trailer for the third season. That's started off as a book. It is now a show, very popular show, but personally, I didn't enjoy the first season, and I only watched 4 episodes. I couldn't get through any of it. But To All the Boys, which is also a book adaptation to a movie series, I liked To All the Boys. So some of the new ones that are being done this year. Verity from Colleen Hoover. Now, obviously, Colleen Hoover, they had It Ends With Us. I haven't seen that movie yet, and that was because, and I will never see it, just to put it out there, because I did not like the casting for the characters. Any of the characters, I did not like it. And personally, I didn't really like the book that much either, so I'm like, I'm not going to go see the movie. But my sister enjoyed it. She's read the book and obviously now watched the movie, so she liked it. So, yes, It Ends With Us. My friends watched it. They've never read the book. They had no idea what it was about, and they liked the movie. So I was like, I should consider watching it, but at the same time, I'm not going to consider watching it. Colin Hoover, she's making a really big just thing in the movie world because Verity, another book of hers, is being turned into a movie. I think they just finished filming not that long ago. It's starring Anne Hathaway, so that is also being turned into a movie. Reminders of Him is apparently being turned into a movie, I want to say. I've read that book. I liked that book, so I hope they do the casting good and I will watch it. And there's another book of hers that's being turned into a show or a movie. I just can't remember what the name was. It's got Mason Thames and McKenna Grace. Regretting You. I think it's Regretting You. It's like a red cover. I know exactly what book it is. I just can't remember the name, but I think it's Regretting You. That is currently being filmed now, and obviously being turned to, I think it's a show. But yeah, Colleen Hoover's got the market going with her books, so she's doing pretty good. The Housemaid, which I have read. I read it obviously recently. I think it was last month or the month before, April. And that is being turned into a show. Hold on, I should probably read it because I can't. I'm gonna say no. Yeah, show. I'm gonna say show because I feel like they could do a lot with it if it's a show more than a movie. So that is. I probably won't watch the show just because it was such a disturbing book, and I liked it. I thought it was great, but it was disturbing, and thriller's not my thing. And if it's as disturbing as the book is, I'm not going to be able to get through it. But my friend who recommended me the book, she really, really loves Frida McFadden, so she's definitely watching that movie, show, whatever it is, they're all the same. So yes, that one's starring Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried, and you know what? The casting's pretty spot on. One of the guys who was in It Ends With Us, he's also doing The Housemaid, so that's pretty good. Um, what else is being turned? There's heaps. I feel like there's heaps being turned. Oh, is that being? Oh, so there's a lot of planned ones. Powerless. That's why I came up with this topic for this episode. Powerless is being turned into a show with Prime. Powerless is by Lauren Roberts. It's a series, and my sister loves it. Absolutely loves it. And I have it on my shelf. I've had it on my shelf for since it came out, which was what, 2023? No, I have not had it since 2023. Have I actually? Oh my God. I've never actually realized how long I've had that book for because I have been watching Lauren Roberts on TikTok. She was a book talker and I've been watching her videos for years. And I think it was during lockdown she came up on my feed and I started following her because she started writing stories, and this was around the time when she started writing Powerless was around the time that I figured out that I want to be an author. So seeing her write her book, which was Powerless, and seeing her, say all about it, I was loving it. And then I just stopped watching her videos and it just went quiet from that. And then the book came out and I told my sister, I was like, I'm gonna get this book, and I swear, I think I got it right when it came out, or maybe I'd say it was either when it came out or 6 months later. And I, bought the book because I was like, I have followed her entire journey up until this point. I feel like I owe it to her to just read this book and see what she was saying for all these years writing it. Like, I've wanted to read it. And I haven't read it yet because I wasn't in such a big fantasy mood until this year. Fantasy was not, like, it still isn't really my thing, but I've been in a fantasy role this year and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to read fantasy. I've never realized how long I've had that book for. No way I've had it for, it's 2025. And I looked it up the other day because I'm like, if it's getting it turned into a show, like, how quickly has she done this? So she's gotten a show and she's published 4 books. And I thought it was all within like 2 years. It's been like 3 years and she's got 3 books, which makes sense, the timeline wise. But if I've had that book since 2023, oh my God, that's so long. Oh my God, I was going to read it too instead of my current read, which is Things We Never Got Over from Lucy Score. It's like right behind you. And I was going to read it Powerless because I was like, Lauren Roberts is coming to Australia for Supernova, which is like a Comic Con type thing. And I was like to my sister, we can go, we can get the cheaper tickets and just go see her, get your book signed and go. But she was like, you haven't read the book yet. There's no point in going. And I feel like there will be other author events, not that'll be a lot cheaper and be worth the time and money than going to a Comic Con, spending $45 but only seeing one person. Yeah. So we're gonna skip it. But I'm like, she'll want to see um, Lauren Roberts and get, because a lot of the authors, they don't come to Australia. They don't do author tours in Australia. It's all over America and Europe. So having Lauren Roberts come is pretty, good. So obviously Palace is getting turned into a show. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. People have been talking about this book for years and talking about who should play Evelyn Hugo, and now it's apparently planned. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, Bridget Jones just got a new movie this year or last year. Was a book series before. There's heaps. I'm looking at it. Emily Henry's apparently getting one too for People We Meet on Vacation. I read one Emily Henry book. It was Book Lovers. It was really boring. I'm so sorry, but it just wasn't my type of book. And it was a slow burn, and I was like, can't do this. Like, when you say slow burn, usually it's like, it is slow, but then you're like, oh, it's a lot quicker than I thought. This was slow, ridiculously slow. And I just wasn't vibing with it. Uh, a few other book adaptations that obviously everybody loves that I enjoy, I should say. Harry Potter. Obviously, it's like a main one. I can't believe I forgot about Harry Potter and I've just mentioned it now, 15 minutes in. So Harry Potter. Um, there's another one that came to my mind and I just forgot it. What was I gonna? Oh, My Fault. That one. The Culpa Mia series. I haven't read the last book, but I have read the first two, and I read them after the first movie came out. It was spot on. Like, it was great. And my sister watches that movie, both movies, because there's 2 movies now out for that series, from the Spanish versions, because there's now a British version of My Fault. So we've watched all of them, obviously. I enjoy the Spanish ones. They're spot on to the book and they're perfect. And now they're having a third movie for the third book come out this year. And they also came out, I think it was the start of this year or the end of last year, My Fault London. So it's the same book, same series, but set obviously in London. And I wasn't 100% with it, but it was actually good. It's not like the book. Like, there was a lot of differences. Obviously, they had the same storyline, same characters, but it was very different, and you could tell. But I've noticed this one, it was London's version, obviously. The Spanish one will always be everybody's favorite, it'll stay true. But the London one, if it wasn't didn't have the book attached to it, and it was just My Fault London, no book attached to it, nothing, and it was its own story, it was a great movie. And it was a great movie. I enjoyed it. It was lots of fun. So I'm like, I would watch that movie just regularly, and if it wasn't like, and not compare it to the book. But I compare the Spanish one to the book because it's so similar to the book. And they're also getting number two and number three for the movies, so they're filming that now. So My Fault is, expanding, which I didn't expect it to. I expected it to get the Spanish movies, one, two, and three. I did not expect it to get, you know, My Fault London, or if they do other ones, there's a lot of similar ones as well, um, that are very similar. I don't know why it's a trend now, but the whole stepbrother, stepsister thing. So, parents getting married when their kids are like 20 years old, so they're adults and they're like, can understand the concept of everything, and they're falling in love with their step sibling. And I don't know why, but there's multiple. Because my sister was like, and it's a lot of the Spanish ones too, because she goes, oh, there's this Spanish movie coming out, and it's exactly like My Fault, like their step siblings. It's like, why? And there was this Italian one. It was, so sorry to say this, but it was one of the worst movies I've seen in my life. And it's called The Tearsmith. And it was just, I didn't know what was going on. Like, me and my cousin were watching it, and we were deeply concerned. We didn't know what was going on. It didn't make any sense. So The Tearsmith, that is also a step sibling one. And it's like, they've, the way that they have it, I don't know why it's a trend, but it's like they see this person and they're like, there's an instant draw to them, but it's like, why are you drawn to them? You've never met them before. And isn't it in your mind when you see, I'm going to use this example, which is probably not an example that's similar, but it is. Your friend, right? Your closest friend, she has a boyfriend, you don't. Your first thing is you're not like, if somebody asks you, "Oh, is the friend's boyfriend good looking?" Your thing is, "Yeah, but like, it's more of those, it's in your mind. You're like, I'd never be attracted to you because you're my friend's boyfriend." Like, you can never say, "Oh my God, I find him so hot," and da da da, because, it's in your head. It's like, it's your friend's boyfriend. You can't say those things. And it's like an instant mind click where you see them and you're like, yeah, you're just a person. It's not, I don't feel nothing. That's how the feeling's supposed to be. So when these step siblings, you know, for these movies and these shows and all these books, it's like the first thing in your mind should be, you're immediately not attracted to them because there's this barrier that goes up, and you're like, yep, you're my stepbrother, cannot fall for you. He can be so good looking, but it's like you have this like filter or blind on where you're like, I don't see the good looking that much because, he's my stepbrother. Like, that's how you're supposed to see it. Like seeing your friend's boyfriend, it's like there's a filter where you're like, you know, I can say that he's a good looking bloke, but there's a filter where it's like, I would never froth over him. It's like one of those. I don't know if that's a good example, but I'm just saying, like, it's the best way to put it, where, people can understand. And all of these people, obviously, I love the My Fault series, but it's still a little bit weird that they're, step siblings. And even, like, I got my cousin to watch, like, my cousin's not a fan of watching romance movies and reading the romance books, and we got her to watch My Fault. She was deeply concerned because she's like, how? They're step siblings. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I can't explain it to you. They could be friends, falling in love. They could be enemies, but instead they're step siblings. I don't know how it works. I really don't. Maxton Hall, they're getting a season three. They've just finished filming season two, I think, or they're filming currently. I don't know. I'm not keeping up with this stuff, but they've got season two coming out. They've got season three coming. So yeah, that was a good show. I quite enjoyed it. It is a German show. Obviously, it's dubbed with English, same as My Fault, dubbed with English because it's Spanish. Maxton Hall, it was great, and I really enjoyed it. My sister absolutely loved it. She loves a lot of these shows because I feel like it's targeted to that demographic, even though she's 14, they're targeting to that demographic. But I quite enjoyed it, and it was just good. And no step siblings. Let's just say they were from completely different worlds. They were not related at all. The main guy, I can't remember the names, but the main guy was is really really rich, and she's considered working class. So, so I've just looked up romance books that are being turned into movies because I feel like it's more specific that way. I didn't realize that the book that I'm reading currently, Things We Never Got Over, is said to be turning into a something, a show? No, a movie. I had no idea, so I should probably get onto that. So that one and one of the big ones that I totally forgot existed, Bridgerton. The Bridgerton series is a book series that's been turned into a show. Obviously, it's on season 3, currently filming season 4. Very excited about that. That's coming next year. I can't wait. Benedict is my favorite Bridgerton sibling. Very excited to watch that series. I wouldn't never like I'd never read the series just because I've already watched the show and I feel like I know what happens. So there's no point in reading the series. Plus, I don't know if I could handle the Regency themed books. But my friend, she actually met Julia Quinn, who's the author of Bridgerton, and this was, I think, a couple years ago. So there's this book, like this author event that happens every year, and it's a bunch of indie authors, Australian authors, I should say, and they all get together. And then they have one really big author that comes in as well and does signings. And I went this year and I got to see how it is, and it's pretty cool. Like, I got two books from two authors I had never even heard of, but their books sounded so good, and I want to support local Australian authors because I'm going to be one. And my friend's mum is an author, and so she was at this event. So she's like, if you want to come and you can talk to all these authors, see what they've done with their careers, and get some inspiration. So that was my main thing to go. And obviously, I bought two books, didn't expect to. I haven't read them yet. And they had this one big author. I hadn't heard of this year's author, but a couple of years ago they had Julia Quinn as that big author that came in. And I think the first season of Bridgerton had been out by then. And my friend ran into her, I think it was at the coffee shop or somewhere, or at the event, because my friend helps her mum at the event. And she got the photo with Julia Quinn. I was like, I'm so jealous. And her mum, when obviously my friend wasn't there at the time, and her mum went and got a Bridgerton book signed for her, and she shows me because I've seen it, and I was like touching. I was like, oh my god, like you've got a signature from Julia Quinn. That's awesome. And it's the fact that you've met her too. It's one thing to get a signed book, but the fact that you've met them and like you can tell them how much you love their series. Like, I've got two signed books. I have the Off Campus series, which when I bought the limited edition version of it from Illumicrate, the first book was signed. But I didn't never met Elle Kennedy, and I'd love to meet her, and Hannah Grace, love to meet her. But I have a signed book from Wildfire because she went all around Australia to certain like bookstores and she signed her books. And I ran to the bookstore that it had the next day, and it was this small little local bookstore. It's in the city, and I rushed and I was like to my cousin because we were supposed to go to something before, like afterwards. I said, we have to go get this fucking book. I need it before it sells out. And obviously, we got the book. It's so good. Like, I was just looking at it, I was like in awe. Obviously, I know I'll never get to meet Hannah Grace because she's very confidential about her, putting herself out there, like her picture and stuff. So her picture's not in her books. Nobody really knows who she is. Obviously, there's certain authors and stuff that have, like, authors and obviously the bookstore owners have met her, but she probably asked them, please don't film, because she's keeping her identity a secret, and I respect that. So she's obviously one person I know I probably never meet because I don't know what she looks like, so I'd never be able to pick her out of a crowd, and she'd probably never do signings because obviously the identity keeping secret thing. So that I respect. But I'd love to meet Ali Hazelwood, as she does all these author conferences and stuff, but never in Australia. So I hope next year for this big author thing, they get a few big authors. But there is a big one coming in, like a big event. It's called something of fiction. I saved it on Instagram, and it's in or not August, October of this year, and the tickets go on sale at the end of the year. Nope, wrong. The tickets go on sale at the end of the month. The thing's at the end of the year. And they're gonna get 20 big authors, apparently. I don't know what big is. Big to me, big authors to me is like Ali Hazelwood, Hannah Grace, like those ones, the ones that everybody knows. Like you could say their book, people would know it. So that's big authors to me. So I don't know what they'd get, but it's called, I'm looking at it now, Festival of Fiction. Now, fiction, obviously it's a broad thing, but obviously they're going to have a couple of romance authors there. So they're going to, when the tickets go on sale at the end of the month, they're going to have the list and the lineup for that of the event. So I said to my sister, we'll see how many authors we know, and then we can go check them out. So it says 70 amazing authors, 20 massive stars flying in. So the 70 authors could be anybody, but the 20 massive stars, that could, that could be anybody too, but like that could be people that we know. So that's one thing that I'm waiting to see the lineup, because I'm like, if there are authors that I know and that I'd love to meet and get my book signed, absolutely, I would 100% spend the money for it. And maybe Lauren Roberts will come back and we don't have to spend $45 at the Supernova. We can just meet her there and I'll have read her book. Anyway, I feel like I have nothing else to really say on the whole movie adaptations of books. So we're going to end the episode here. Thank you so much for listening and watching if you have. This podcast is now, it's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and now I'm going to post the video podcast on YouTube. So I'm posting it on YouTube because I feel like watching the video of the podcast, you can watch snippets on TikTok, but you can't watch the full thing. And watching it on Spotify is kind of, it sounds like a hassle. So I've put it on YouTube. And if you or anybody wants to see the video as well as the audio, go to YouTube under Romance on Repeats. I'll have the videos there, starting from episode 4, obviously, and yeah, for the rest of the season, which I'm hoping I can get 10 episodes in this season, if I find stuff to talk about, that is. But yeah, so that's the end of this episode. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you next week.